again, my beautiful.
Hello, handsome.
Before we get started, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you.
We appreciate y'all joining us again. What's our topic?
So, where's the poll? Didn't you put a poll? So we put a poll up on YouTube, and there was a few answers on the polls as to what today's topic needs to be based on how curious people are about certain questions in a relationship. Like, and by that I mean, like, what are some of the most asked questions, you know, in a, let's say, a serious relationship? Now, obviously, if you just kind of dating around and sowing your royal oats, the questions wouldn't necessarily be the same as they would if you were trying to establish a future, a long term with somebody. So I think it was more to the tune of talking about the switch up, right? And what I mean by that is, you know, when you're in a relationship with somebody and you're used to how they do things,
right,
like on a consistent basis or whatever, and then there's a shift and there's a switch up, like, do you address it right away? Is this something
you notice that their habits and their patterns change, and it's like, is that something that, you know, does that throw up a red flag for you, or so on and so forth? So that was the question that we had, and so that's the topic of today's podcast. So with that being said, if you see my habits change, do you address them? And if so, or if not, why?
Okay, so I have a couple different answers for that. It all depends, for me, it all depends on what it's about, like what the change is. Like, I'll give you an example. So for our anniversary, yesterday, which our anniversary is actually today. Today is December the 2nd. When we filming this, today is our actual anniversary. But we had a little date yesterday because, you know, we keep the Sabbath. So the light up this morning, we couldn't, you know, we didn't want to do anything to hinder us from doing our worship and our normal Shabbat things. And so then when the sun goes down, then we shoot the podcast for y'all. But so yesterday we elected to go ahead and have a date. And babe did a little switch up on me, right? So he got off early, and I had been home, tidying up, cleaning up because I was off. And, you know, I got showered and I got dressed and everything. And then babe, he didn't tell me where we were going. And normally, you know, we have this just regular schmegular places that we go, that we enjoy, but because he wanted to surprise me, right? His moves was a little different yesterday. Like, he was kind of like holding his phone down here, even though he said he wasn't. He was.
It's because I didn't want to get fussed at because I was driving. Right.
He was driving, which we don't recommend to text and drive. We don't do that. But like, he was trying to set the course on the GPS, and he didn't want my help, and he didn't want me to see him, even though I'm the co-pilot. Like, I'm going to put it.
But what good would it have been for me to give her the address for where I was trying to surprise and take her?
Right. To
put in her phone.
But I'm going to say this. It was still, you was moving different. You understand what I'm saying? But it wasn't enough. Like, it didn't have my antennas up enough for me to be like, what you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, for it to be problematic, right? So that's one thing. Like, if it were something like that, I'm not going to address it. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Because normally, because I know your heart and I know that you love me and how you love me, it's like, I'm not going to become problematic with you over something that I know eventually is going to end up being a blessing for me, right? But now, if he had done the switch up and it was the energy was different, Yeah, that would have to be a conversation for me, like, for sure. So again, it just depends on how things are, like, how things unfold, like what the energy is. I have a tendency to be a little empathetic. Like, I pick up on energy and I pick up on vibes. And so because Babe and I have been together as long as we have, like, if it's something going on, I'm gonna know about it. Other than the fact that I'm very intuitive, like, I pick up on everything. Nothing escape me.
And I can't hold water.
Right, so he would have told me, like, one of my gifts, he bought me a bag for our anniversary, and he couldn't hold it for me. Like, he thought that I had went snooping and that I figured it out, but I didn't.
But snooping on accident. I don't think she purposely did, because she didn't know where I had bought from. And then she just happened to buy something from that same place, and I'm like, oh crap.
No, I'm not. I don't snoop like that. You know that.
I believe that as people grow and mature, you're going to have changes. Right. And just like you said, there's sometimes changes are literally just a simple change. Yeah. Right? There's no negative effect. There might not even be a positive effect. It's just a simple change. We've been together 13, 12 years, and she could tell you I'm a creature of habit.
Very much so.
Yes, sometimes that could be a bad thing, because if I'm thrown off, I get a little discombobulated.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think sometimes as we grow, you have to have some changes. But I think when you have a partner, correct me if you feel different, you have to pay attention to their habits, because you have to know, you have to see the warning signs in case the change is a bad thing.
Oh, for sure. So I'll pose the same question you gave to you. What do you think about that? Like, if it were me, like, if the shoe was on the other foot and I was, like, doing some, like, weird...
Well, if you started putting your shoes on the wrong feet, I would definitely have to confront that. I would definitely have to confront that, because shoes on the wrong feet just don't work.
Baby, yeah, okay.
But I believe that we've been together long enough that just like you, I can look at the situation to see, but like, either it's a positive, it's a mundane, or it's a negative change. Like, you got to pay attention to what kind of change it is, like you said. Yeah. Because the thing is, especially like you brought up yesterday, right? But like, I know what we're going to eat. Right. Yeah, you might be different, so obviously it's something for the good. Right? And it's like if you said, babe, I want to do something for you, but then I noticed you acting a little weird. Is it you acting weird, or you're just trying to not ruin the surprise you have? Right. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at the keep everything in context.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but you know, if something was negatively changing, I would be like, excuse me, excuse me,
sis, hello.
Can we talk? Because yeah, and one thing we don't have a problem with is communication. Yeah.
Like, we don't have rules like that. You know what I mean? Like, let me tell y'all something. It's so organic and so easy with us. I hope this is not one-sided. But it's so organic and easy with us.
Because there are some rules.
Wait. What I mean by that is, it's so organic and it's so easy with us. And I know people gonna be like, gag, but we really, literally, we complete each other's sentences. Like, I was talking to one of our kids, and I was explaining a theory that I had, and I went in the kitchen to get something, and I'm looking around for it. I didn't say what it was. Babe was like, it's over there. The kids was like, how do you know what she looking for? He was like, cause she is me and I am her.
We is one.
Right. So that just to give you guys an understanding of like how in tune we are. So the reason why I say we don't have rules is because we get it. Like, we get each other. Like, I don't have to be like, babe, that ain't cool, why you do that? You know what I mean? Like, first of all, and I know we gonna probably get a lot of flack for this, but we don't argue at all. And if you think it's, like my kids say, cap, if you think it's not true, all you gotta do is just reach out to our kids.
Any of them could do
Patrick, Kayla, Emric, Jaden, Steph, John, any of them. They will tell you, I never seen my parents argue at all. And the reason why is because of the mutual respect that we have for each other. Which, to that I would say, I would know immediately if there was a shift. Because if Babe started acting the opposite of that, we don't have, I don't want to say normal.
But see, the way I look at it is like, so we've been together all these years, and there's certain things that, and it's kind of like an unspoken rule, but it's like car doors, house doors. If me or one of the boys is with her, they better be open the door for her. They also know, because that's the way we teach them. That's how they should treat their ladies.
That's right.
That's what I need to see.
Yeah.
Groceries. Only time she is allowed to carry groceries is if she's picked them up and there ain't nobody at home.
Yeah.
Because even Josh now carries groceries at 9 years old. He can get it.
Yeah.
He was proud to carry that big old watermelon in the house.
Yep. That's true.
The thing is, I feel like those are the type of things that if that was a dramatic change, all of a sudden it'd be like,
wait a minute,
hold on, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
But if you don't pay attention to that, then you're setting yourself up. Then you get down the road and it's like, this has been going on for a while now.
Right.
It may be too late to fix it.
Right. But see, and to that point, I was just thinking that. But what we do is post checks. You know, like post checks. What we do is, I don't wait for there to be an issue. Not to say that there are issues, but like I don't wait. I'm always checking on Babe. I'm always checking on him to see if he's okay, if it's anything he wants to discuss, if it's anything that he, that's bothering him or that, is on his mind, or any concerns that he could possibly have or whatever. If it's anything that I've done that could have possibly been an irritant for him, all those types of things. And so because we do the post checks, and he does the same thing with me. He's baby, you good? Whatever. And we talk, like, even though our schedules can be very hectic and challenging, Babe sends me messages every day like clockwork. And if he doesn't send me let me tell you something, y'all. I'll pick my phone up because I honestly forgot that I had it on silent because I had gone to a meeting. And just innately, I'm like, wait a minute, I heard from Babe today, and picked up my phone, and he texted me, but because I had my phone on silent, I didn't realize you had texted me. I'm like, oh.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
but to some people, they don't see their side of it.
Right.
They're like, well, he ain't texting me all day. Mind you, you didn't realize your phone was on silent.
Right. And so I'm like,
but then some people would go off and they're like, wow, I just don't understand you. Well, check yourself.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we do is we check ourselves before we try to confront the other person, because sometimes our perception is skewed of what we think is going on.
Yeah. It's, to me, it just boils down to just respect. If there was a switch up and it went undiscussed, then that wouldn't be within the character of our relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't sleep at night, Babe can tell when I don't sleep at night. Like and so I would say for any couple, and I know it sounds so cliche, like communication is key.
Yeah.
It is key. But you know what I've also realized too? People lack communication skills. And so you can't take for granted that everybody knows how to verbalize or communicate effectively. Not everybody knows how to do that. Especially now in the age of, you know, the phone. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, by like in like the next 10 to 20 years, everybody's gonna have a hump. It's gonna be like straight up, you know, that evolution. You know how evolution works. Like,
and they're gonna have longer thumbs.
Longer thumbs, stronger wrists. You know what I'm saying? And a hump, because everybody's like this. Nobody looks up anymore. You don't hold an eye-to-eye conversation. Like, that was the way that I was trained. Like, I was taught as a young lady, like, you want people to trust you. You know, you want to, you know, let people know you mean business and in a serious way. Look at people in the eye when you talk to them. You know what I mean? Like, the art of communication is no more. You know, everybody want to text everybody. Like, you have people literally sitting across the table from each other and they texting each other. Like, you know, people live in the same household. You're texting each other. And it's just like, I think a lot of the breakdown of humanity is going to be due to
the loss of communication.
The loss of communication, digital age, all of the things, you know what I mean? Because you got thumb thugs, you know what I mean? Instead of you having using your big words, you know what I mean? Or using your adult words, everybody want to text you or cuss you out or, you know, say how they feel or whatever the case might be. And
but they can't talk to you like that face to face
at all,
because they can't muster their words and their courage up to speak on the hard stuff unless they're typing it
And so then from that you have very shallow relationships. They're very, very surface, you know what I mean? They're very you like me, I like you, okay, that's it, you know what I mean? Or, you know, I mean, it's
And the thing is, in researching for this, Babe was looking up tough questions for couples.
Oh yeah.
And the questions it gave her were ridiculous. So shallow. Ridiculous. I'm like, no wonder that we have divorce rates the way they are. And you see couples get together and they're gone because the tough questions that society thinks is tough questions, some of those were questions you should have asked on the first date.
That's what I know. Hey, listen to this though. So, if y'all remember a couple years ago when we were going through the thing, right? The panorama, okay? Couples was breaking up left and right.
Yeah, because they were stuck having to talk.
Because now you gotta face me. We gotta have discussion. It don't even necessarily have to be the hard questions. It could be like, what you want for dinner? Why you gotta say it like that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? Why you gotta, like, you know, it's like, you know, did you start the laundry? What about your maid? Well, wait a minute, we in here together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We on lockdown.
Like, we on lockdown. I do the laundry, you sweep the floor. Like, what the heck? You know, listen. But if they would have checked on each other before,
right? But that's what I'm saying.
Like,
but that's what I'm saying. It's like the problem was already there.
Yeah.
It's just like you let it fester and fester until you have to deal with it.
Right.
It's like, well, now it's so big. It's like we only have one option.
Right.
It's like it's almost too big to fix. So we're just gonna have to be done.
Exactly.
But the thing is, it's like when you see the changed behavior or you identify the lack of something, whether it's i.e. communication, your love language, if you're not getting enough of that, if you don't address it before it becomes a big problem, it's a big problem. Like the change up, back to the change up, yes, historically. And now I'm speaking for men because as Bae says, she's never been a man, won't ever be a man. Praise the Most High for that.
Thank you, Father.
I've never been a woman, don't plan to be a woman, and praise the Most High.
It's a shame we gotta have that conversations, but continue.
But a lot of men do the change up for either A, well actually it boils down to A, they're not satisfied. Mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever, but it's an internal problem that they don't know how to address themselves. And they seek whatever. And, you know, I'm not necessarily seeking anything outside their home.
Right.
But they change up because they feel, like I said, mentally, physically, or spiritually, they feel like something's lacking in their life. And they try to change it up. Or it's the direct adverse, is they've put something into their life that now has affected them and they have to change up.
Right.
You know, I had a good friend, his wife never saw it coming. We tried to tell her, like, dude got strung out. Like,
you know, I'm happy you brought that up, because I feel like as a woman, and I can only speak from my experience or like how I would feel in the situation, right? I feel like we as women, we have this innate ability to that intuition it be intuition.
Not all women.
No, I'm talking about me.
Oh,
that's why I said
okay.
I got to bring this back. And not that I would ever be, and you never say never, but I know you, and you know me, and you know I'm a little crazy.
But your
so
crazy,
it couldn't
that's
be
my crazy.
It could never be me. It couldn't be me, because you know me.
Right.
We're gonna leave it there, okay? But I know that there are women who, there's two things. One, that they could see a switch up, know why the switch up is happening, and do nothing.
Do nothing.
There would never be a conversation. There would never be hey, what happened here? Like, what happened? Like, why you
How did we get here?
That? How did we get there? Like, what, you know, did I do something wrong? Was it me? You know, whatever. That's one. Then I know of a type of woman who would do the switch up. And literally be looking at you with a bombastic side eye, like, why you trying to check me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, dang, you know what I mean? So it's like, and I ain't either. I'm not either, okay? I am a communicator by nature. I like to communicate and talk things out. I feel like communication is a necessity. I think effective communication is an art form. And I feel like it is essential in a fruitful union, in a fruitful relationship. And so, not only that, but I'm a solid chick. I'm consistent. She is me and I am her. I'm not a creature of habit per se, but I like order and I like consistent behavior. So I don't speak the language with people who do the switch up and then be looking like, what?
Right.
Like, okay, and you know what I mean? There is a mental health terminology for somebody who acts like that.
Right.
Like, it really, 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 truly, honestly is. And no, I'm not a mental health professional, but I like to study that type of stuff.
Psychology 101 was my favorite class.
I'm telling you the truth.
That was a good class.
I'm telling you the truth.
I didn't pass it, but it was a good class.
Like, but dead serious. Like, I I like to understand the nature of a person.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about spiritually and mentally. You know, emotionally, I want to know what made you do that. Like, what made you move that way? You know what I mean? And no, I'm not a cerebral type person. Like, I'm not a butthole, like anal, but like, I am just a solid, like, hey, this is me 24/7. My husband can attest to that. This is me. If I say one thing, I'm gonna do one thing. If I say this thing, I'm gonna do that thing. Like, I'm not a wishy-washy type of person. So the switch up for me would be catastrophic.
Right. And very noticeable.
Extremely so. Because
well, and then the other thing is from not just the relationship aspect as far as a pairing, but like, because we're people watchers. Like, we see people that you see on a regular basis, we notice their switch ups sometimes before they even notice it.
Right.
And like, we try to, in a loving way, check on them. Be
That
like,
was so loaded.
You good? Be like, you good?
That was so loaded.
But I'm saying, like,
For sure though, man, for sure.
We don't
for
try
sure.
to be butts about it, but when you notice the change up.
But that's the reason why our circle is so small, because when we see, and not, I'm talking about in a relationship, which remind me, I just said that, but also in a friendship type of relationship, like if I see how you move one day and then you switch up the next day, we're good.
Right. like we ain't playing that high school thing where you're my friend today and then tomorrow you talk behind my back.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Because, and we were talking to the kids earlier about this, and I was saying, I can't be cool with somebody like that, like the switch up, like hot cold, like and then on top of that, I can't be cool with somebody who we don't speak the same language, right? So
Right.
Give an example. I've seen people, married people, be cool with single. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like either or, man or woman. No. Not doing
Well, that within itself could be a switch up.
Yeah.
Because if you've never hung out, like, it's one thing if, like, in our past 12 years, if I've always had dudes I hung with or whatever. But if out the blue, all of a sudden I'm like, babe, I'm going to go hang out with this group of dudes and they're all single dudes, that act alone is a weird change up.
And same here with a female. Like, I literally can count on one hand how many close acquaintances, friends that I have, right? They all married. Every last one of them. I'm not talking about my adoptive sons, right? Which, matter of fact, Clay, shout out to you. He's married, right? That's like my son.
Lee married.
Quentin married. He's in a committed relationship. They'll be married in a hot second. You see what I'm saying? But it was like, I can't be cool with somebody who, especially and now you got to look at both sides. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like, oh yeah, you know, I got a platonic friendship with this guy that's single, even though I'm married. You can't do that no more. You can't even do that with the females, because sometimes they be looking at you like, how you doing? And it's just like, wait a minute, I'm married. They don't care. You know?
Like, I have a dude at work I tell her about all the time, but like, he's married, like, because our son at one time dated a girl that was her daughter, but like, so I know the whole family dynamic there, but like, we don't bring new stuff around that just is not, you know, we've been on this road for 13, 12 years, and if y'all don't understand 13, 12, you're gonna have to go back and watch the last podcast.
You gotta go back and watch it.
But you know, the switch up, like I said, the changes could be for the good.
Yeah.
The key point is paying attention.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, pay attention to the change up. Determine, one, is it a perceived change up or an actual change up?
Right.
Then two, if it is an actual change up, let's get to why.
But then too, okay, let me go back to, you said perceived change up. So the perceived, what Babe means by perceived change up is like, is it something you're thinking, like you're conjuring it up on you in your own mind, that is not reality, it's not really happening, it's just the way you saw it, like that's the way you broke it down, or no.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's the concept we talked about, and I've explained to the kids. It's like, is your mind, because you could have not been paying attention yourself.
Right.
Now all of a sudden you've noticed something and you're thinking it's a change up, but you weren't paying attention to start with.
Right. Right.
Right? So it's like,
so how you gonna check the situation?
Right. It's the whole concept of, you know, my kids buy a car and all of a sudden they're like, man, I see these cars all over the place. The cars were already there.
Right.
But now you're paying attention to that kind of car.
Right.
You see it.
Right.
You know, it's that concept.
Yeah.
It's your mind looks for what it knows. If you ain't paying attention to the going on of your significant other,
right,
you ain't gonna notice a change up.
Right.
Until you start paying attention, you're like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Even though that's the same thing they've been doing the whole time.
Yeah. When you are in a committed relationship, okay, let's say married, because that's what we can speak to, because we're married, clearly. And you're not paying attention to what does the older people say? Watering your grass.
Right.
Cause what was the saying? Somebody said to me the other day, everybody think that the grass is greener on the other side. No, the grass is greener where you water it. Right, and it kind of goes along with the saying that I have where...
I got told the grass is greener on the other side because it's full of shit.
Well, that part too, but it's greener where you water it. And so, like, you know, like I tell a lot of the people that I work with, like, I bloom where I'm planted. You know what I mean? You don't never know where your situation might carry you, or whatever the case might be. And I've learned through the years to not to curse my wilderness, right? So, like, if I'm going through something, and I've learned not to be like, dang, man, like, I try to find the blessing in it and be grateful in every circumstance, right? So that's me, okay? So that makes my partner or my significant other appreciate where I am when, okay? But if you're not there, like if you're in a relationship with somebody, you are married to this person, and you're not paying attention to them, right? And you're paying attention to everything else but them, then yeah, stuff is going to escape you. Right. It's literally going to be like over your head, and you may not see the switch up right off. It would happen during a time when it would almost be, like I said, catastrophic, explosive.
The smack in the face.
The smack in the face. Like, wait a minute. You're not going to notice them until they done packed a suitcase. Right. Like, where you going? I told you 2 months ago. Right. You know what I mean? And not necessarily that they're leaving, but, you know, they might be just leaving out to do something else, and you just got, because you got your focus someplace else, you know? That's a dangerous situation to be in. And then, too, you know, when you do see the switch up, after you've checked yourself first and said, hey, is it me? What am I doing?
Right.
What can I do different? Once you've gotten past all that, then I would say address the situation, right? Then I would say address the situation.
Pray about it.
Obviously.
Then address the situation.
Obviously. Yeah.
Because the thing is, and then this leads right back to what we were talking about a second ago, is when you address it, you have to have the intestinal fortitude to start having those tough conversations. Because there's nothing worse than you not addressing something that bothers you. Because at the end of the day, again, get smacked in the face with it.
Yeah.
But when you realize it, you pray about it, and you ask for the strength to address it, you have to follow through and address it.
Yeah.
But it's a process. Addressing any switch-ups, changes, whatever we're calling them, right? You just have to know that you have to address it with love, period. Because if you go already into the conversation with a negative,
oh yeah, for sure.
well, I mean, you can't expect a great outcome when you walk in with a negative.
You already going into it like that anyway. You know, I used to, and now, in another lifetime, I used to match energy. What I mean by that is that if you come to me with the smoke, you gonna get the smoke, right? But now I've learned a better way to communicate and deal with hard situations, you know, or let's say challenging situations, you know what I mean? It don't necessarily have to be with my husband. It could be with anybody. Right. You know what I'm saying? This is relationship stuff. You know what I mean? It could be anybody. I'm gonna do the introspection. I'm gonna do the inside work first. Right? And it's almost like I have a recording here, and I'm gonna record everything that I said, everything that the party said, and I'm gonna play it back. Where was I wrong? What could I have done different? What could I have said better? You know what I mean? Pray about it, like Babe said, and then I'm going to try to address it in the most, let's say, fruitful way that I can. And I use fruitful a lot because, you know, to me, it's wholesome. To me, is doing the right things. It requires growth, right? So that's why I use fruitful. I'm gonna try to deal with the situation with growth and, like you said, emotional, mental fortitude, spiritual understanding and wisdom, and it's gonna be what it is, you know. But first and foremost, you need to start out with the right things. You know what I mean? Like, you can't expect to have a jacked up relationship from the beginning and then
just automatically
be like
rainbow and sunshine.
Then be like weirded out by the switch up.
Right.
Like, what'd you expect?
Right.
Like, okay, so y'all started out wrong, and then,
but it's all supposed to be good now.
It's an even worse switch up, and then you like shocked and clutching your pearls. Like, that's not how it works at all. You know what I mean? If you started out wrong and you're not putting the right things into it or trying to develop a better way of doing things, expect for it to continue to be wrong.
Right.
Like, expect for it to continue to be jacked up.
Right. The definition of insanity.
Right. Like, for those of you that don't know what insanity means, it is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. That's insanity. So, if it walk like a duck, it quack like a duck, waterproof, it's a duck.
Yeah. So, I think that's, that's a pretty good, the change up. Pay attention.
Yeah.
I think that that is a major key in most relationships, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, good friends,
Yep.
family members. I mean, because change up happened with family members.
It continues that whole gamut, the whole spectrum of relationship, period. Period. Oh, one other point. The switch up. When you be with somebody who done been around somebody else talking crap about you. Whoa. You got to be careful of that switch up.
Right.
And you know the tree by the fruit that it bears. Okay? When you come around, the person act this kind of way, what? And then when they get around somebody else, they do the switch up, you being discussed.
No bueno.
You're being discussed. You're being discussed. You're the topic of conversation. You are somebody's entertainment. Right? That's exactly what it is. And it ain't no round about it. It's no round about it. It's just what it is.
Right.
And don't be, just be careful, like in these streets, when especially as it relates to your character, your mental health, your spiritual health more specifically. You know what I mean? Just be careful. Don't, whatever switch up it is, whether it be in a relationship, whether it's you that's doing a switch up, whether it's somebody else is switching up on you, just don't let it take you out of the person that you're trying to become or the person that you are.
Right. Maintain yourself.
Maintain yourself. So, don't let it get you down. Keep pushing, keep praying, you gotta fast about it. If you gotta start cutting folks off, you just gotta cut some folks off. And and that's what it's gotta be. Because ultimately it is going to benefit you in the long run. It's gonna make you a better you.
Right. Well, we hope y'all have enjoyed this one.
Yes.
We're enjoying these a lot. We appreciate all the new followers.
Yep.
Comment below, give us some topic ideas.
Yep.
We're here for y'all to help with your relationships.
Yep. We got some more stuff coming your way as far as our posting. We're trying to get the schedule down and then work through these technical difficulties that we've been having. But hey, we're working through them, and we just appreciate all of the support that y'all are giving. And yeah, y'all just keep rocking with us. We got a lot more to come, and that's pretty much it.
Well, y'all, thank you for checking out a couple conversations with Nate and Shay. And until next time,
shalom y'all.